fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fallen from heaven to the earth. To him was given the key to the bottomless pit. And he opened the bottomless pit, and smoke arose out of the pit like the smoke of a great furnace. So the sun and the air were darkened because of the smoke of the pit.
Authorities in the Philippines are warning that a volcano near the capital could be on the verge of a dangerous eruption. While the Taal volcano, about 60 kilometers south of Manila, began spewing ash and lava on Sunday. While Taal sits in a picturesque lake and is one of the most active volcanoes in a region where earthquakes and eruptions are a daily part of life. And Manila's international airport was temporarily closed, and tens of thousands of people have fled, while others are refusing to leave their homes and farms.
Volcanic lightning shoots up into huge ash clouds charged with static electricity. It's just the opening act of what could be one of nature's most dramatic shows.
Then out of the smoke locusts came upon the earth, and to them was given power, as the scorpions of the earth have power.
Over in China, the death toll from the virus rises while the disease continues to spread across the world. A whistleblowing Chinese doctor who was among the first to identify the deadly new coronavirus died of the disease in Wuhan earlier this morning. Park Hee-jun brings us the updates.
The death toll in China from the novel coronavirus has hit 636, with the total number of confirmed cases standing at more than 31,000. China's National Health Commission revealed the latest figures early Friday, with 73 deaths and more than 3,000 additional cases occurring in a single day. But around 1,500 patients were discharged from hospital. In Hubei province alone, there have been 618 deaths and over 22,000 confirmed cases. That's an increase of 69 deaths and 2,400 cases in one day. Among those who died from the illness is Li Wenliang, one of the first doctors to have warned people about the coronavirus. The 34-year-old had informed the public through WeChat back in December of a SARS-like disease, but he was targeted by the police for making false comments. The nation met the news of his death with grief and anger, demanding the government to apologize for downplaying the seriousness of the virus. The news also sparked the issue of freedom of speech in China. In response, China announced it will send an anti-corruption team to probe issues regarding Li. With no signs of the outbreak slowing down, China has enforced lockdowns and similar measures in 14 more provinces and cities outside of Hubei province. The cities affected include Hangzhou, Liaoning, and Nanjing. Figures continue to rise in other parts of the world as well. The virus has killed 2 people outside the Chinese mainland, one in Hong Kong and one in the Philippines. Over 30 cases have been detected in Europe, Germany having the most with 13 patients. Overall, Japan has reported the highest number of confirmed cases outside of China, followed by Singapore, Thailand, and South Korea. Park Hee-jun, Arirang News.
They were commanded not to harm the grass of the earth, or any green thing or any tree, but only those men who do not have the seal of God on their foreheads.
It's a different kind of spring awakening in California's Yosemite National Park. Black bears, bobcats, and coyotes with the place to themselves.
For the most part, I think they're having a party.
Without people, lions reclaim the road in South Africa's Kruger National Park. From the great outdoors to the world's great cities, the virus shutdown dramatically illustrating our impact on the planet.
When we run our economies less, we pollute the environment less. And now We have seen pretty dramatic improvements in things like air quality around the world.
Marshall Burke teaches Earth System Science at Stanford University.
Is this a real-time experiment on our impact on the environment?
It is a real-time experiment. I don't think it's an experiment we wanted to run. This is not the way to clean up our environment.
Still, with fewer cars, planes, and factories, the change is stunning. The murky waters of Venice's famous canals now clear. In Wuhan, China, according to NASA, air quality improved 30%, almost 50% in Milan, Italy. Skies clearer in LA, the Himalayas finally visible. Improvements coming at a horrific economic cost.
And they were not given authority to kill them.
Right. Well, you know, they're both respiratory viruses, obviously. Fortunately, this virus is, I think, considerably less lethal than 1918. Unfortunately, this virus is much more contagious than 1918.
We have therefore made the assessment that COVID-19 can be characterized as a pandemic.
To kill them, but to torment them for 5 months. Their torment was like the torment of a scorpion when it strikes a man.
Of course, staying at home is our best defense against coronavirus, but it's also making it hard for so very many to survive financially.
The global economy is in a state of paralysis. Businesses are closed, production has ground to a halt.
The coronavirus crisis is a challenge for all of us, but especially people who are dealing with hunger and poverty in our region. We've talked with a number of different social service agencies. They tell us the COVID crisis has a disproportionate impact on those in need, and the virus is only making their struggles and the efforts to reach out to help them more difficult. So,
it's a desperate time for a growing number of Lebanese. Those willing and able to help are stepping in by providing food to the poor. A nationwide stay-at-home order to contain the coronavirus is putting further hardship on an already struggling population.
We have so many calls you wouldn't imagine. People starving. We were serving only food, but people asking for medication, people asking for milk for their children, diapers and stuff. I wish that we can get all that done for them, but we are so limited with the donors.
Raising money is hard in a country where, according to the World Bank, 45% of the population live below the poverty line. The pandemic could not have come at a worse time for this nation of 6 million. Lebanon is bankrupt.
In those days, men will seek death and will not find it. They will desire to die, and death will flee from them.
Tonight, support for workers on the front line of a mental health crisis. The state's expanding telehealth services and sending more personal protective equipment to behavioral health care providers who must see patients in person. As News Channel 5's Matthew Torres explains, it comes at a time as more people are losing hope.
Now more than ever, we need to to remember that we're all human.
The coronavirus not only damaging physical health, but mental health as well. Misty Leitch of the Tennessee Suicide Prevention Network fears as the spread of COVID-19 grows, so will the number of suicides.
I think the long-term effects of the COVID-19 are going to be devastating.
The shape of the locusts was like horses prepared for battle. On their heads were crowns of something like gold, and their faces were like the faces of men.
Coronaviruses received their name from their appearance in electron micrographs, where the pronounced spike-like protrusions create the effect of a corona, Latin for crown.
This is SARS-CoV-2. It belongs to the family of coronaviruses named for the crown-like spikes on their surfaces. SARS-CoV-2 can cause COVID-19.
They had hair like women's hair, and the teeth were like lions' teeth. And they had breastplates like breastplates of iron, and the sound of their wings was like the sound of chariots with many horses running into battle. They had tails like scorpions, and there were stings in their tails. Their power was...
Let's have a closer look. Inside the virus, genetic material contains the information to make more copies of itself. A protein shell provides a hard protective enclosure for the genetic material as the virus travels between the people it infects. An outer envelope allows the virus to infect cells by merging with the cell's outer membrane. Projecting from the envelope are spikes of protein molecules. Both a typical influenza virus and the new coronavirus use their spikes like a key to get inside a cell in your body, where it takes over the cell's internal machinery, repurposing it to build the components of new viruses.